We're here with Alyssa Prokos, member of the Western Michigan softball team, but you have something that makes you unique, makes you special. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but first I want to talk about your journey to Western Michigan. You came here from Lake Michigan Community College. What brought you to Western Michigan? Why did you want to come here?
Well, it's always been my dream to play Division I softball. It's been my dream my whole life, and I knew that Western was close. The coaching staff at Chelsea High School actually recommended Western to me, as well as Lake Michigan College. There's some connection there. And so I thought I'd just give it a go and see what happens.
Leaders come to, on a team, come to campus, and they build that leadership idea and concept from freshman year on. You didn't have that time to do that, but you've really become a leader on this team. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because of my hard work and my dedication to the program. Day in and day out, I'll be at the softball field helping out a teammate, doing whatever I can do to contribute to our success.
Now, you're not just a member of the Leadership Council for our softball program, but you're also kind of a part of a leadership task force for Western Michigan Athletics. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's where a bunch of athletes get together. Let's see, hockey, basketball, golf, tennis. We all get together and we discuss ways that we can build our programs to succeed. We talk about the hardships in our programs, kind of the issues within the team, conditioning, practices, etc. And we get different feedback and different opinions, and we kind of just all come together.
It takes a special kind of mindset or special personality to come into a situation like you did as a junior and take over a leadership role. What does it say about your personality that allowed you to come in and feel comfortable being a leader right away?
It says that I'm a go-getter and I don't care what other people think about me, I just had to go for it, and I did.
Now, closer to softball, I talked with your head coach, Coach Litke, and she said that Alyssa is, almost like a softball nerd a little bit. You love the game. You're passionate about the game. She told me that you know who's leading the nation in areas. And what is it about the game that you love so much?
I think it's just the fact that the game is so mental. Physically, of course, you have to, be a decent softball player, but it's so mental. When you go up to bat, you have to have that right mental mindset. When you step on the field, you have to have that right mental mindset. And if you don't, then your game's thrown off. And I think that's what really attracted me to the game, because when I was younger, I was more mentally weak. And as I've grown with softball, I've become a mentally stronger person.
I can see the passion, in your eyes and in your voice. I hear it in your voice when you talk about it. Where's that passion come from, growing up? And what else are you passionate about?
I'm just really passionate about success, just in general, not only on the softball field, but for our country. And that's obviously why I'm going into what I'm going into.
You're going to be going into the Navy as soon as you leave Western Michigan. I want you to talk about first where that idea for you came from and what was kind of the turning point that you made the decision, this is what I want to do.
When I was in high school, I wanted to join the military. I knew I wanted to join the military. It was just the question of if I wanted to join out of high school or if I wanted to wait, get my college degree kind of underneath my belt, and then join. And so I decided that route. And I guess it's just a passion for watching the news. I watch the news a lot with my family. My family was very into politics and government and those kind of things, so I always grew up around it. And then, learning more about our country as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that, things they're not working the way they should be. And so my goal is to go in there and kind of get that experience and that exposure, so then I can maybe implement it for our country and make our country a better country.
For Bronco fans and for people that know you, tell us a little bit about what your goals are once you get there and what you want to do as a member of the Navy.
So as of now, I'm an aviation technician. I'm an AV, and their job is to work on planes and whatnot. But I took that position because I would like to try out for special ops, and I would like to become an air rescue swimmer. It's going to take a lot of physical and mental hard work, but I believe I can get there. I have about 5 months to train and get ready for it, and then I'll try out, and we'll hope for the best.
So for people that don't know or aren't really well-versed in what an air rescue swimmer is, tell us a little bit about what it is and then how you'll go about throughout your training.
An air rescue swimmer is a part of the Special Warfares program, and the purpose of an air rescue swimmer is to rescue people from the water, and you do it in times of warfare. You'll do it in times of weather advisories or just in general if it's happening.
Now the training. What are you going to physically have to go through to get ready for the training and then go through it and be successful in the training?
So the first part is pretty easy. It's called the PST. It's the physical standard test to get into special ops. And I will have to do a 500-yard swim in 12 or less minutes. I'll get a 10-minute break, and then I'll have to do 50 sit-ups, 50-plus sit-ups, that's the minimum, in 2 or less minutes. And then I'll go on, I'll have a 2-minute break. I'll have to do 42 or more push-ups in 2 or less minutes, have a 2-minute break, 4 pull-ups or more in 2 or less minutes. I get a 10-minute break, and then I have to run a 1.5 miles in 12 or less minutes. So physically, I mean, it's not going to be that challenging for me to get into the program, but it's after that. It's the training that we'll go through. And we'll go through drown proofing, which is where they tie up your hands and your feet, and they kind of throw you in the water, and then from there you have to like get yourself out, or obviously it's not going to go very well, but things along those lines.
I don't want to ask like what about the upcoming process intimidates you, but what do you find is going to be the most challenging for you mentally, as you said, and physically?
I think physically the most challenging thing for me is probably going to be more of the mental aspect. Physically, I know I can achieve anything if I put my mind to it, but it's the week on and week end of doing the same thing and putting your body through those vigorous workouts that I think is going to be a challenge for me, and it's just mentally getting myself tougher to that point.
Now, anybody that enlists into the armed forces, the armed services, especially in this time that we live in, you know the possibility of putting yourself into harm's way as soon as you're active. What are your thoughts on that, and what's your family's thoughts on that?
Well, my family has become more accepting of me going into the military. Out of high school, they were not very approving of the situation, but as I showed more passion for it as I got older, they became more accepting and more understanding of the situation.
You mentioned the physical and how you're pretty comfortable with that, and there's a reason for that. At least I know this last summer, you do Tough Mudders, and you light up right there. So tell us what those are, and are they fun to you?
Oh, I love Tough Mudders. It is the best thing I've ever done in my life. It was a 12-mile race, and it's all through the mud, and there's like different obstacles you have to go through. There's about 20 obstacles, and it's all for the Wounded Warrior Project. All the money goes to them. And I mean, it was amazing. Just people helping people that you didn't even know, people bringing people up, it's just getting through it. And it was a great experience for me, and it's something I will never forget, and I'll keep participating in.
So that's obviously helped you physically. I want to end with this. How has what you've gone through in your life, whether hardships, positives, whatever, how all those experiences prepare you mentally, emotionally, spiritually for what you're about to embark on with the Navy?
They make me more optimistic. I have been through a lot of hardships in my life, in my past with family and just getting actually here to Western, I had to work really hard to get here. And I think that's just made me a stronger person, and it's made me realize that I can do anything that I put my mind to. And so that's what's really driving me as I go into the military.
Well, I want to say thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. Thank you for being a Western Michigan Bronco. Thank you for everything you're going to be doing with our United States Navy, and I really appreciate it.
Of course.